Okay, hello and welcome to the SpyParty PAX Invitational Tournament, day number 5. We're going to be starting off with Legorve, Genine versus Lazybear. Joining me on cast is Opie Wrights.
Hey yo.
So let's jump right in because they're ready to play. So let's transition over to the draft and take a look at what venues we will be playing on. We're going to have Legorve banning out Balcony to start, followed by Lazybear banning Ballroom. Oh no.
Yeah, ballroom band doesn't surprise me too much. Balcony is an interesting one. Maybe Legorve is just not very comfortable with it. Lazy Bear doesn't really pick balcony as far as I'm aware.
Hmm.
So it's just maybe a comfort band there perhaps. The restriction makes a little bit more sense into specifically Lazy Bear though. Legorve is going to be restricting Aquarium any 4 of 8, while Lazy Bear restricts Veranda any 5 of 8. So aquarium, obviously, Lazy Bear is kind of like well known for the cheese strats that
Yeah.
can happen on aquarium, and Legorv is just a really strong sniper and is not likely to give away anything on veranda. And Lazy Bear might not feel as comfortable sniping it as some other venues, so once that out of the way. Going into our picks, though, Legorv going after my heart here, doubling Redwoods. I love it. Redwoods is a very, very fun venue. I think
Hmm.
just both as sniper and spy. And if you're comfortable sniping it, which of course not everyone is, there's a lot of trees in the way. Then I think picking it can give you a nice advantage. Lazy Bear going to be doubling Tayen, another occlusion venue, which makes a lot of sense for Lazy Bear. He's performed pretty well on it, and it's sort of the more behavioral type of occlusion venue,
Yeah, it is.
where you can't really camp as well. So it fits well into the play style. Legorv is going to go into selecting Lazy Bear's Restrict with Veranda any 5 of 8, and Lazy Bear will do the same with Aquarium any 4 of 8 as the last pick. So, both of those relatively expected. You like to, pick what your opponent doesn't want to play, and their restriction means I don't want to play this, right? Of course, there's also
Debate.
as we always mention the bait of like making your opponent pick what your restrict is, and you actually do want to play it. But there's always that kind of counterplay available in the draft, so it's not as simple as just pick restriction. Got to think about a little bit more deeply about it. But in this case, Lazy Bear definitely wants that aquarium.
Yeah, and to note, Lazy Bear was also the winner of the venue tournament for Redwoods, so he's no slouch on the venue. He's definitely comfortable playing it. I played him a bunch in that tournament, and it is one where you can kind of also play it behaviorally, like Tayan, as you were saying, where it's an inclusion venue that you can kind of use behavior. And I feel like on Redwoods, sometimes you almost have to as sniper because you can't get all of the information that you normally would from the other venues, so you have to read into what would my opponent be doing.
I don't know about that. I
Oh,
love it as
whatever.
a camping venue, but I think it's a very indicative of how the venue
Hmm.
plays in that both styles are to shortcut that information gathering
Yeah.
that you can't normally do on other venues actually work. It's always fun to see that but like a wide variety of styles can be successful on any given venue.
Right.
So I think we should be probably ready to get into it if we can let our competitors know. This will be cast 100% live right here, right now. This is the first place you'll be able to see these results. So it's going to be very, very exciting as we get into it.
Yeah, give me a second. I'm whispering them now that we are ready to start. Okay, they have been
And
alerted.
yeah, our first spy will be Lazy Bear, playing as someone, don't know who yet. We're creating the game now. And Lazy Bear Spy is, in my opinion, probably the strongest spy currently active in the competitive scene.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's just very good at getting inside the sniper's head, knowing what the sniper isn't looking at or what the sniper is looking at, and using that to his advantage. So that kind of thing can be very strong, and especially on redwoods where the sniper has to look so intentionally at things.
Yeah, and Lazy Bear possibly a favorite to win the entire thing. I mean, at this point, everyone in kind of the top 8 could easily win, but Lazy Bear has been, competitively doing very strong this season. So we've got the first game up. I'm going to transition over to that, and we'll start off in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
All right, here we go. Lazybear on to Kane. And as you mentioned, Lazybear is doing very fantastically competitively recently. Did super well in Platinum and won the Platinum final, so is going to be in Diamond next season in the SpyParty Competitive League. So very impressive stuff. It always takes a lot of skill to be able to rise to Diamond like that, no matter no matter the strength, right, of your opponents. Like it's just gonna be difficult to get all the way up there. You need to win a lot, right? So Lazy Bear winning a lot recently for sure, and of course has had a lot of success in other tournaments. It's just he's a very good player and should not be dismissed ever. Legorve, on the other hand, in copper this past season, I believe, or was it bronze? One of the two.
Too
This
low,
past,
whatever it is.
yeah, it's far too low. Legorve very nearly took down a perfect season in that in copper, I think it was, yeah. But only stopped by Manatters, who he actually played in the first round of this invitational again.
Into
Uh,
double overtime on this bracket here.
yeah. Oh
Oh,
wow.
and
Oh
look
wow.
look at Legorve go. What a shot.
Yeah, this is absolutely a statement shot here from Legorv. This is actually really interesting because um uh we did early bar highlights, but we didn't do early bar highlights for everyone who went to bar. In fact, we were the only highlight that stuck after from taking that drink. So I think there was some reason that the Gorv was on to us really early on and just shot us for that delegate, but
Yeah.
didn't even wait to see the purloin. This is just like a shot that says, I know you're the spy, and you're gonna have to figure out why now. You're gonna have to be a bit more respectful in how you play
I
these
love it.
next games.
And,
So
and
Lazy Bear, yeah.
sorry, and honestly, I was surprised to see Lazy Bear picking Kane because I feel like he kind of he kind of favors that character sometimes. I feel like he picks those strong characters and he's not afraid to pick characters. Do you know what I mean? So it might be a little bit of a character read, to be honest.
Character reads are definitely a little bit hard to rely on, but if you
Sure.
find that and if it's correct, it can induce these kinds of really strong shots, like we've seen from Legorb just now. So going forward, Lazy Bear going to be perhaps a little bit more timid on the spy side, a little bit more respectful. You know that's the kind of shot that really forces that out of the spy side. So maybe not as feeling a little bit constricted here going forward. But first, it's going to be Lazy Bear on the sniper side, Legorv on the spy side. In three, two, one, playing it.
Yeah, and
Ooh,
Legorve's sniper style is quite interesting. He goes for
ooh,
the
ooh.
cheesy inspect while standing on book so that he doesn't have to take the book out. That was very nice.
Yeah, so on redwoods and redwoods specifically, you can stand at that book pad and inspect a statue without ever picking anything up. That could be really quite massive because if we go back to red books now, we're not going to be credited with full inspects, which is just it's a whole mission done that the sniper does not expect you to have done.
Hmm.
And the cost of that was really quite low. We just stood there for a couple seconds at books in the early game. Time of Chaos is a perfect time to do it. Legorv had the spawn and went for it. I'm really a big fan of this play. Now we just need to find a clean finish for the rest of this game. We could go for the bug as the ambassador is quite crowded here. We're gonna wait as if because the conversation was full. The ambassador does leave, which opens up a spot for us, and we do the correct etiquette through there. We try for a bug, but the ambassador was just going way out there. So, of course, there's no real downside to this bug as it was completely hidden by the
In the end of
conversation.
red.
Pretty good contact. Not that many people out.
Yeah, only two low lights and maybe two more if Lazy Bear goes for the assume real, but I'm liking Legorv's chances so far in this game.
Hmm.
Just we got 2 minutes left on the clock. Contact's done. We don't have any flirt progress yet, which is a little bit concerning. But with that cheeky inspect that is hasn't been seen by Lazy Bear, I feel like we just have a lot of options to finish off this game. We could go for the fingerprints perhaps, or go for some kind of bug. Bugs are quite strong on redwoods just because of how occluded that sniper side can be.
Yeah, and it looks like Legorve is going to elect to go in and finish up the inspects now, which means that towards the ending of this round, he should be working on flirt instead. So Lazybear will have to probably go for more of a flirt finish shot rather than an inspect finish shot.
Yeah, and this is also going to be fingerprintable. So we're actually going to take out the red book here, which is a little bit interesting. I think that perhaps because we didn't think we had enough time to get all of the inspects nicely,
Hmm.
and have that done. We decide, well, let's take it out. We can come back and get the inspects again. The problem is, at this point, the fact that we have no flirt is a really big issue, because now, even if we do get the inspects without being seen, flirt is a pretty easily assumed mission, especially if you weren't being watched closely. 45 seconds left to do an entire flirt is just not where you want to be as the spy. I think that this game, which was looking so nice, could be sunk right here by the fact that we just don't have the ability to get this flirt done, but we're going for it. 51% on the first flirt. That means that we could go in for a green test on the second one, and that would complete off our flirt. We're gonna go back into red books here. I imagine to have to reset the cooldown, but we
Yeah.
still need that last fingerprint. And the ambassador was just at green books, the one place we don't want to go right now, because it's all we don't want to be seen getting full inspects. Queen's gonna smudge it anyways. We only have 10 seconds left. I don't think there's gonna be enough time. We're gonna have to add time, but I think that's just gonna get a shot. Legorve really letting the pacing get away from him here. I think there's no time for even this time ad. Lazybear is
Lazybear's ready
watching
for it.
for it,
Yep.
and yeah, runs out of time. That's just really,
Wow, that
really
was
quite unfortunate.
yeah, that was such a great round by Legorov up until kind of the last half where he just didn't pace it properly. I wonder if instead of putting it back into red, he should have dumped it into green. That way you could get micro, finish inspect, and then you need what, one more mission? And then you just go, I guess, crash bug or maybe pull the book back out and try and fingerprint it since there was a fingerprint in it.
Yeah, I think the fingerprintable book that Legorv went for got us a quite a bit of suspicion,
Hmm.
but it is still, like, I think something that Lazy Bear is a little bit less likely to shoot for. Although Lazy Bear's shot rate tends to be pretty high, how he loses games is almost always by shooting civilians. So getting missions done like that, I think he does have that risk tolerance, willingness to shoot if we go for that last fingerprint. But I just think if we were a bit better paced there, we definitely had a good shot at it. But in the late game, we were just going around too quickly. We were doing things too fast because we just didn't have the time. And Lazy Bear was on to it completely and was even watching for our time right at the end. Not that it
Hmm.
matters because we just time out. So now it's 1-1. Lazy Bear back on the spy side as general in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, and Legorov's sniper, I was playing him the other day for quite an extended set. I feel like he he he's one of those snipers that looks for weird things and catches weird things, and he actually ends up low lighting the spy as general, brings it back to neutral, so possibly a
Yeah,
misclick.
that just seems like a misclick, right? It's not that big of
I
a
hope
deal
so.
here. Well, it is pretty clearly a misclick now that we've brought back
Yeah.
up to neutral. Um, looks to go get an early flare. Wow, Highlight. That one doesn't seem like a misclick.
Yeah, look, I'm telling you, Legorov looks for and catches different things than someone like you or I would. Specifically you. He's not as much of a camper style. I don't think he's watching for hardtails as closely as he is for other things.
Yeah, he does have some behavioral etiquette stuff he likes to work on.
Hmm.
Uh, this, and it's actually something that we see a lot when he streams. He plays the dailies, and often in those you can kind of see his thought process going a lot towards the behavioral etiquette side of things, and in the normal etiquette too, but especially the behavioral stuff. And he's also a very good camper as far as mission counting
Yeah,
goes.
he
So
is.
it makes for quite a strong sniper overall. But Lazy Bear clearly needs to be a little bit more careful and a little bit more respectful than you might be against just a hard camper like myself,
and in the red.
or even a behavioral sniper. Uh, the respectfulness is like not as important. Even like this kind of mix, I think, is where the respectful play is most important, right?
Yeah, I'll be interested to find out if we have a chance to talk to Legorov, which I assume we will. What that highlight is for, because I didn't see anything particularly. Wow.
What? What?
Legorov is insane right now.
Yeah, Legorve is just. There's got to be some kind of like research going on here, right? Like
Has
I
to be.
feel like there has to be some kind of opponent research going on in here, and he is just taking really quite aggressive. Like I guarantee you, he knows that these shots are really aggressive, right? Like that is unquestionable. He usually mission counts much harder when he's just playing against a generic opponent. But I think against Lazy Bear, he's really trying to say, "I am inside your head. You
Right.
cannot do anything," and try to make that the set winning idea.
Take a look at 302, which is right before he goes for this highlight. I wonder if he's thinking that that path, that 90-degree turn around Mom there is highlightable, and Legorv is not noticing Mom because she's low lit, so all he sees is Lazy Bear walking straight to bar and then taking a pretty sharp 90-degree turn over to the conversation. And then maybe his depth perception is off and he's phantoming a bug, but it might actually just be for that turn.
Yeah, that's really impressive shot from Legorv. Now, of course, the potential downside to this is if he's ever wrong, that kind of aggressive shot really could burn him. It could just give up a spy game to Lazy Bear that maybe otherwise you would not get. But so far, it has been completely clean and completely clean on Redwoods, no less. So we'll see if Legorv can take the advantage here on the spy side in three, two, one, playing it. Stepping in next to ST early on is a very, very classic early spy move. The low suspicion, like I'm just going to get some easy mission progress. And of course given how Legorv's first spy game went, I think he's going to be a little bit more inclined to get that early flirt and just know he has that in his back pocket so he doesn't have to worry about it later in the game.
Yeah, and Lazy Bear accidentally low-lit the seduction target because the double agent was standing next to them, so the arrow looked like it was over Oprah here. Not that it matters too much since it's just the ST, but I wonder if he'll catch it and bring Oprah back up to neutral, probably after this briefcase.
Well, the thing is, like, since it's not the spy, like, even though it's like a technically bad play, or like you're low lighting a random person for nothing, even if it's not the spy, it's technically helping you, right? There's one less guest that you're watching. But of course, Lazybear is one to bring them back up low lights. He's a much more behavioral player, has very flexible lighting.
And right now, Lazy Bear actually has more highlights than he does neutral. So this could be pretty hard for him to parse.
I mean, so Lazy Bear just highlights for single inspects on the statue,
Okay.
so it looks like it's just a game where a lot of people are doing that. And if Legorv is on top of that, that means it's also a game that's pretty good for inspects completion as the spy, because the more you're kind of blending into this party, the more that AIs have it, the less suspicious it is that you have it yourself.
So you're saying you actually want to get the highlight so that you're in the majority of people rather than in the minority of people.
Well, not necessarily. What I'm saying is that getting inspects here is much stronger than, say, getting inspects in a game where no AIs have visited statues, right? You can still elect not to do it, and stay at low light compared to not low light, but neutral light compared to all of these highlights in the party, which is itself quite strong. But when there are already a bunch of highlights, it's much more reasonable to be taking that highlight yourself.
And I'm surprised to see the semi-early contact. If Legorov does know that Lazy Bear is highlighting for inspects, I would expect Legorov to go for contact and maybe as a third or possibly even a fourth mission to keep the number of highlight suspects high. But he does go for the contact now, leaving just 7 people left in the party.
I'm really interested here because now we're getting down to 50 seconds, and we've got the contact and the seduce, right? That is certainly some
I
mission
think this could be a
progress, but it's
swap, I bet.
not. Yeah, this could be a swap here, looking to avoid being seen at the statue
There
at
it is.
all. But unfortunately, the ambassador paths over to us, which means that we get seen doing that. And here we go for the bug on the way through. That is going to be mission win pending. The question is if it got seen. It looks like it might have. Yeah, Lazy Bear zooming in on that and taking the shot. The bug wasn't quite good enough.
Yeah, the
Uh,
bug. It was a good attempt at the bug, but you could really see her wrist as she passes by. And Lazy Bear was just completely ready and had the perfect angle, open trees for the bug there.
Yeah, I think that Legore really didn't want the ambassador coming over to us because this statue despite it being out front, is surprisingly easy to miss people at sometimes. I think it could have been really interesting if Legorve went for a pickup cheese swap, set it down, and just run away, because some angles, especially with the ambassador over on the further right side of the venue, like the ambassador was for quite a while there, can just lead to not being seen at the statue at all and getting that free mission done with some really heavy confusion for the sniper. But it is a little bit risky. But at that point, 50 seconds left, you have to do maybe something a little bit risky, I think.
Hmm.
And so that is going to be a draw 2-2 coming out of Redwoods. Maybe not exactly what you want to see from Legorve, because it is his pick, and now we're going into Tayen, but it is, of course, still a draw. Anyone's game. No one's explicitly gotten that advantage yet.
Yeah, let's take a look. We've got next game up. Go ahead and count us in.
All right, Lazybear on the spy side of Tayen as Irish in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, and even
Now,
though it ended 2-2, it sure felt like Legorve was ahead, right? At least in a momentum perspective, Legorve felt like he won that, even though the scoreline is 2-2.
yeah, and the fact that there might be a like kind of backlash to that. Like even if you feel like you're really far ahead and you're doing well, when you realize the set's still 2-2, maybe that's a little bit disheartening. Like I've been perhaps playing this better, but it's still just drawn. Uh, it can be perhaps something you don't like to see. Lazybear going to go for this timeout in the back of the venue. Oh no, my God! It is immediately caught and immediately shot for. Legorve is just all over Lazy, like inside his head, knows exactly what to look for at all times, it seems. And that's now another win on the sniper side. Can Lazy Bear hold is the
Absolutely
big
insane.
question. Wow.
Legorve is just out of his mind on sniper right now. Yeah, I would never be able to predict that this would be happening.
I mean, Legorve is a very strong sniper, but this just seems like he knows Lazy Bear, right? It feels like a very researched spy, and he knows what he's going to coming into the set trying to do, and he is executing flawlessly. But Legorv still needs to find the spy one to actually make a lead happen. We're gonna see if it can happen here on Tan in 3, 2, 1, playing it. And of course, this is the SCL variant of Tayen, which is -2 guests from standard Tayen. So it makes it a little bit easier on the sniper in terms of like not having to credit so many bugs, perhaps not having to play quite as behaviorally in some respects, because you can track missions just that much better. That said, the shoji are on opposite sides, and you never like to see it as sniper, because that means that you have to stare down this corridor or stare through shoji to be seeing both these conversations at the same time, and it's never really pleasant to do.
Yeah, and as far as the set goes, really all Legorov needs to do is just keep winning all of his sniper games and break through with one spy win. And if he can do that, he can manage to win.
All he needs to do is just win all of his sniper games, no big
I
deal.
mean, so far,
Yeah, I mean, I do agree that Legorve has been on fire on the sniper side, especially into Lazy Bear's spy. So it's not really it wouldn't be shocking to me to see Legorve just lock down the sniper side. Um, so it would be really nice if he could do that. The crazy Kaylee strategy, as it were, to just really lock down the sniper and win sets by finding that spy win somewhere along the way. In this case, it could be right here. We're starting off with a really slow game. Rusty does come to us, so we get that 34% flirt, and now we're probably going for this contact. Lots of people in for it. Here it comes. Green
so
test. Both conversations have the SDA. Uh, Interestingly, we see an extra low light onto Buns there. He
Sip
was
Green
talking
BB
during.
and a bug on the way out from the ambassador there.
Yeah, I didn't. Wow, I didn't even didn't even notice the bug. That I think Lazybear probably didn't either in that case.
Mhm. Yeah, I want to look at it in the replay because I actually was from sniper side and just did not see it at all. He went for a sip green B, which sip into green banana bread, which is a great move to catch yourself a low light while that mission is going off. But since he's not a suspect yet, I don't think Lazy Bear's not even looking at Seek because he's just a neutral light and hasn't done anything. So,
Well, he's also in the back of the venue, which
mhm,
makes the efficacy of Sip Green BB is that you're taking a risk on cutting a Sip animation to go for that green contact.
mhm,
But if you make it happen, the sniper does need to be watching for that to
exactly.
actually work. And now we've hit a green purloin. We want to get that last flirt before it comes off. Another reject from Buns here, but our ST is taking a briefcase. We really, really want to get that last flirt before this purloin comes off, so we immediately launch into this 10-second countdown. And I feel like we're going to immediately follow Queen in this conversation, take that flirt, perhaps as General. Oh no, General didn't even take this, so we actually have a little bit more time to more naturally get this flirt. That's very, very good for us. Here comes the take. Here it comes.
There's the flirt into stop
There's the
talk.
yeah. Flirt into stop talk. Wow, Lazybear is on top of it. He saw the fade and knew exactly who had the reject.
That was another insane game of Spy Party. I mean, Legorve's timing on everything that he just did right there with the bug that both of us missed. I didn't see the purloin. He was just doing stuff at the perfect timing for what I thought would be Lazy Bear to miss it, but somehow Lazy Bear completely tracks that purloin chain, is on top of it, and takes the shot in the end after watching the fade from Salmon. Just absolutely crazy from both players. Let's take a look at the bug here.
Yeah, so the fact that seeing that fade is very, very important, right? Because if you don't see that fade, it's now a 50-50 between a highlight and of course the highlight is not really indicative of suspicion necessarily for Lazy Bear. It is more about the what's inside of his head, and the highlights are just for statues. But making sure to see that fade and then knowing exactly who it is, that the only person who could have done that, because we have a low light onto Buns. So she, despite being in the reject chain, is not a consideration for Lazy Bear. And Legorve just goes down, knows that it could only have been him despite the long chain. I think that General being an SDA was a little bit unfortunate for Legorve there, because it was another one of the rejectors in the chain. So two
Mm-hmm.
low lights and just us and Salmon in the chain. So once Lazy Bear sees that, hey, this is a green fade, can confidently take that shot. But the fact of the matter is, knowing exactly who it could have been and having that purloin chain in mind completely is very, very impressive from Lazy Bear, and just follows through on what you need to be doing as sniper to be able to win this game perfectly. And now we're again back to tied. Lazy Bear on the spy side again. Can he get out? Can he get Legorve out of his head rather? In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, in every round, it Lazy Bear's spy games so far have not really been close. Legorve is catching and killing very fast, whereas Legorve's games are coming down to the wire.
And yet it's still drawn.
Yeah.
Very, very impressive stuff. Smallman is the ST, and we are, by the way, still under AI control. Lazy Bear has decided to get Legorve out of his head by literally not controlling his character. He is like, I'm going to let the AI control me until you think that I'm no longer Lazy Bear. Like I can't be Lazy Bear. I'm the
I
AI.
hope that Legorve shoots Lazy Bear while AI controlled for the ultimate amount of just pissing him off.
I mean, I would call it a bad shot. I like immediately. I'd be like, this is too lucky, right? But this is really, really interesting from Laser. He's like, all right, you're just catching me for behavioral things I'm doing. Like
Mhm.
you studied me. What if I don't play the game?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he does. Honestly, this is not a bad idea to do against Legorv. Um, I guess it's going to just be a test from Lazy Bear, and you definitely want to make this test
Mid
happen
red.
mid-set rather than late. And here goes the contact. He does a take control into what was, I believe, a fake contact, even though there's an SDA in which only nets 3 lowlights, which is actually quite
Yeah,
a lot on this venue.
and the thing is about this long AI control is that we actually just straight up missed out on a flirt, and that's all that happens with that AI control.
Yeah, you could
Because
have
if we
just.
Yeah, we could have just stayed in this conversation like the AI did for us,
Mhm.
taken that first flirt with Smallman, and we just have more progress.
Yep.
So I don't think there was actually much gained But perhaps restricting yourself to just allowing the AI to do it for you, and not letting yourself get any ideas in your head, not letting yourself, like maybe Lazy Bear isn't sure about what kind of tells, right? He's giving off to Legorve, so he's saying, look, I'm just going to let this go, right? I can't I if I can't avoid it by through my own play, I have to let the AI do it, even if it's going to cost me a little bit here. That said, we are now actually Lazy Bear. We could go in for a contact here. We have the waiter behind. Oh, it's going to be a white test Purloin, and that seems like it's just going to be death. Twin took right. Our other twin took right before us. The list is now gone. So at best, it is between two people. Two. No, it is. It is between two. Legorv didn't see the list before it happened, and the other twin gets shot. He did not clear the list after our twin took. Lazy Bear does a white Purloin. The fate is not seen, and in this case, I think perhaps the fact that Twin was talking during the contact was just enough for Legorve, and Lazy Bear with the AI early AI control manages to make someone else a suspect and perhaps punish the early shots from Legorve.
Yeah, and it works out for Lazy Bear. Very surprising to see that Civ shot. As we both know from our perspective, it had to have been Lazy Bear there, but unfortunately it just caught Legorov off guard. It was an odd time for Purloin. The tray was covered by Toby due to the angle, so there was no way we were going to see any fade, even though it had to have been white. Legorov just wasn't on top of it there, and Lazy Bear gets a Civ shot.
Yeah, that is, you have to be checking the list after every take, or else you have potential of like a white looking like a green, or things like that, or in this case a white looking like a white from a different person. You clearing the list after every take is very important if you're going to be camping that, and putting that amount of certainty on that shot. You have to be checking the list between rounds, like between takes, and Legorv not quite on top of it this time and gets burned, going down, but not going out quite yet. Can still make it up on the spy side. We've seen Sniper Party so far, but as Lazy Bear gets one spy win, can Legorv get one himself? Gonna try to see what happens here in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, now Legorov fighting to tie this up. He's in a position where he has to get a spy win, which he has not been able to do thus far. He's gotten close every single, maybe not every single time, but he's gotten pretty close for the majority of the rounds. So we'll see if he can finally pull through. He definitely needs it because you don't want to let.
Oh, we go for a wrong arm bug out of conversation there,
Mhm.
and it doesn't look like we were really being watched for it. Looks like Lazy Bear was actually looking at the back statues, looking at people doing inspects back there. So we could have gotten away with that. However, Lazy Bear also doesn't always react instantly to that kind of thing. But we are just going to pick up the highlight, of course, and of course, highlights are not necessarily what you're going to get out of Lazy Bear if he catches that bug. It's just going to be in his mind, that kind of suspicion. So we are picking up these center inspects here for Legorv, and we don't actually get all three.
Yeah, Legorov getting away with a bug is going to be huge, though. It may be the one thing that you need to push through here, especially if it's not suspected. If it's going to be a question is Lazy Bear going to shoot for someone who has contact, flirt, and inspect?
Well, it's very hard to tell if Lazy Bear is crediting that bug or not, right?
Hmm.
My initial guess would be no, just because of how the laser movement looked. He looked like he was snapping his attention to the back right statues where Twin was at the time. So that is sort of my guess. Is like no, that attention was not on us for that bug. But of course, it's just so hard to tell sometimes because Lazy Bear is just using those highlights for the statues and would not be highlighting for the suspected bug. That said, of course, we do still have to go back to statues one more time, which could seem not that suspicious if we go back to the exact same statue and just do it that way. But this might be another problem where we're not getting enough flirt progress fast enough because we
Hmm.
have 1 minute 23 seconds on the clock, and to get 2 flirts, we do need at least one green test.
Yeah, two flirt, inspect, and a contact with only a minute and 15 is a tall order. Legorov running into another round where he started off with good progress early, but is running into pacing problems on the second half.
He might feel like he's a pretty big suspect so far in this game. Like, look at this. We're going for fingerprints here. really quite unsure why.
I don't hate it.
Um,
I mean, you could go for a silent game.
I suppose, yeah, a silent game wouldn't be that bad, but we still would need to get more flirts. Maybe there's a fingerprintable statue we're thinking about it, but we are going to go in for center inspects here. This might be fingerprintable. Yes, indeed it is. So we're going to finish up our fingerprint and our inspects, but we still need two more flirts at the very least, and that's if we hit a green test. Now, Legorve's green test rate is pretty high, but it is going to need to come down to the wire, and we will have to be a little bit rude about these flirts, unless we don't want to go for a flirt game at all. We're going to request a
Here we're
drink
gonna
from
Purloin.
Toby here. It's going to be a purloin. Can we get away with this? It
It's got
just
to
doesn't
dance.
seem very likely. This is so difficult to get away with not having any flirt done. Can Lazybear see this list?
Here's the
He's
dance.
going for the dance, but it's not working. Lazybear finds the shot. Wow. And the seduce getting away from us, I think hurting us yet again from
Yep.
Legorve. You just need to have that early flirt. The pacing issue on the flirt has really been burning us, because if we had that flirt done, the game's already over.
Yeah, it's interesting that Legorov is willing to be so disrespectful to take this bug at 310ish on that wrong arm. I mean, that's in the sniper's face. You know that part of it's going to be seen. Rocker's wrong arm bug is not, generals or anything like that, and it's pretty visible on the screen. So he's willing to go for something like that, but he's not willing to rush down the flirt against Lazy Bear or be slightly disrespectful or anything like that. So he's getting everything that he needs except flirt, just like on that Redwoods match where he's got all the hard tells through. He's just not getting the soft tell.
Yeah, really quite unfortunate there from Legorv, and I think that your odds are just better if you are a little bit rude about a flirt than going for a white purloin at the end of the game. Like, white purloin at the end of the game is such a classic way to finish as spy, right? Like, the sniper's
Hmm.
always gonna be watching for it. You might not be watched for or shot for necessarily the rude flirts as much. I just think that sort of decision making needs to be happening there from Magorov. At the very least, you want to take that first flirt, and if it's not a green test, maybe you go for the purloin instead, because that now you know that the next flirt needs to be green, and maybe you're not willing to take that risk. Um, but in this case, it just doesn't quite work out. Legorv now down, coming out of Tayan. It is 5-3 in Lazy Bear's favor. He's going to need to make some progress happen here on Veranda of all venues. Lazy Bear starting out on the spy side in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Starting out near the ambassador. Let's see if we get any bug. Lazy Bear avoids the Amba, who is at red bookcase and is heading out, probably towards seduction target.
Yeah, definitely a good decision there. Ambassador did not have much, did not really have any cover there, like you might expect in the time of chaos, and the Gorv is definitely one to be watching that early on.
Now, here I expect Legorov to probably snipe out Lazy Bear again. I don't think Lazy Bear is going to be able to do the shenanigans that he did on Tayan of getting that Sif shot to the same effect. However, if Lazy Bear's been, or I'm sorry, if Legorov has been having pacing problems on Spy, it's only going to be exacerbated here on Veranda, where you have to get 5 done.
Yeah, that might be difficult. Then again, it is also a larger venue, which means that the flirt pacing should be less restrictive. If Legorva is thinking, I need to be a bit more respectful, you can be a bit ruder on 5 of 8 in these bigger venues, because it's much harder to track flirt like that. Lazy Bear, however, going for a really slow start in this game, and I would not be surprised if he's looking for some kind of frame opportunity.
Yeah, already, and maybe just from the get-go planning to not finish missions. Steps in next to seduction target, though, so we should see the first flirt come off here pretty soon. Needs a green, lands it.
Yeah, so framing on these venues, like these 5 of 8 venues, can be a lot more difficult because the sniper is just a little bit more willing a lot of the time to hold their shot if they don't think an AI is quite done. You can really quite hard frame AIs on 4 of 8 because it's just so much easier to make them look like they have all of the missions necessary, especially if they just pick up full inspection on the statues. You can give them real contact, things like that. That could be really, really quite big. Uh, and it is one of Lazy Bear's favorite ways of playing the game as a spy.
Mhm.
But in this case, I think we're just looking to build up general suspicion here. It is going to be a real contact here, and it's quite a nice one, which is a little bit lucky from Lazy Bear's side because he can't actually see the rest of the venue. He can't see if the left half of the venue is a very good contact or not. Like everyone could be, at bookshelves or at statues right now, but instead they're all nicely sorted into conversations. Lazy Bear is going to pick up a highlight. We're not even sure why here, but we are one of five, so it's not like this is like the early shots we've been seeing from Legorve. Not quite as confident in who Lazybear could be, but we do still have that highlight. It is still a bit of a problem.
Yeah, and I mean, it somewhat makes sense, right? Lazybear's only got Contact and Seduced on with a minute and 30. He's really going to have to burst here towards the end to get 3 more missions done. There is a fingerprint on the back right statue. I'm surprised that Lazybear did not go for a Contact into Bug earlier. The Amba was standing next to him with the ST and the DA in the same conversation.
Yeah, it's looking a little bit troublesome from Lazybear, especially. Another reason it can be hard to frame on Veranda is because it can be hard to know who's been where. Because as Spy, you cannot always see, both halves of the venue. If you've been sitting on the right half of the venue like this, like Lazy Bear has, you really don't have much insight into who's being a suspect on the left side of the venue. Here comes a green time ad. Lazy Bear understanding like this needs a little bit more time on the clock. I'm not finishing missions, but perhaps I want someone else to get shot for it. And to get shot, we're going to need more time. Legorve just doesn't seem to be taking the bait so far. So here comes another contact. Very interesting here.
It's a good contact. A lot of people in.
Yeah, but doing the second one, it's just a little bit weird, and we just pick up more lowlights in the party. We are now one of only 2 highlights in the
Yeah.
rest of this party. It's just going to be really, really difficult, I feel like, to even get a civ shot because we are a big suspect. We
So
don't really know who suspects are.
right, and so Mom picked up a highlight because she was in the conversation with us the first time for the real contact. However, she just got dropped down to a low light, so Legorve assuming that the second one was real. However, Irish in the same position didn't pick up the low light as Mom did.
Yeah, we're gonna have to ask Legorve about these lights. I think later on in the interview after the set because wow, I mean they just seem so accurate so
What is he
far.
zooming on right now? He's zooming on
I'm not
nothing.
sure. I'm not sure, but we are gonna get a reject from Toby. It's gonna be a
Green
green
purloin.
purloin. It's gonna go to the SDA though. If she takes, this could be really disastrous for Lazy Bear. But no, it's not. Not quite yet. Who's going to be the taker on this? That's a really big question. I think Legorve probably saw the fact that we rejected, so I would not be surprised as soon as this list gets taken. Here it comes by a low light. Even the list is gone. We're going to add some more time to the clock, and Lazy Bear is just dead.
Yep.
Yeah, so not too surprising to see Legorve snipe this out. It is Veranda after all, but the lighting is just so interesting. Lazy Bear just consistently seeming to end up under the gun, while AIs are just getting low lights left and right. We'll see if Legorve can bring this set back to even on his single venue by playing a spy game to a victory for the first time in the set. In 3, 2,
Give me one
1.
second. I'm sorry.
Oh, oh, we're waiting.
Go ahead.
All right. 3, 2, 1, playing him.
I was asking Warning Track if he has stats on Lazy Bear's character picks. I'm very interested to look at it because I do feel that I see Lazy Bear playing a certain cast of characters pretty often, probably because I know that I have a tendency to do that, and so I'm recognizing it in his gameplay as well. He's picking all of the good spies.
I mean, perhaps it might be character picks. And I've never been a fan of them as much, just because they're so inconsistent. Right, I've been burned for trying to use character picks, and you have to fold them into your sniper play in a way that's natural.
Mhm.
Because in a casual set where you're just practicing, you're not going to be looking at character picks as part of your sniping style, right? You're just going to snipe. So when you try to do it in competitive sets, it can really disrupt your rhythm to try to use character picks as far as research. So if it is character picks, Legorve has really, really planned this out and knows how to fold this into his sniper style without disrupting it.
Yeah, and it also depends how much value he's putting. It may not be, it may just be a little bit of something that he's using and not a huge amount of suspicion or shot, shot worthy. But there is some, Lorgorb has something downloaded, so it'll be very interesting to hear from him. In the meantime, he's only got 49% flirt, and we're at the 3-minute mark.
Yeah, 3 minutes is definitely enough time to get 5 missions done. Of
How do
course,
how do you like Tex in this spot? Would you be highlighting Tex for going right here with the Amba, where the Amba is?
not me, no. I don't I don't really highlight for those kind of things. Screw. I just highlight when I
Banana
think
bread.
someone's got a mission done. And whether that's a bug credit, inspects fingerprints, my highlights are at the same time very flexible and also very formulaic in some ways. But we're not talking about my highlights. We're talking about Lazybear's highlights and Legorve's highlights. And Legorve's highlights have been just preeminently interesting.
Yeah, it's a good spot. There's a lot of traffic from the ambassador. It's a good spot to stand to try and get a reverse drive by, but unfortunately the ambassador doesn't path by and ends up going the other way.
All right. Oh boy. Going in for these statues here, perhaps with the party largely on the other side, we could go for a cheese inspect or that kind of thing. Yeah, we actually do go for a cheese inspect. We are seen here. We do pick up the highlight, and of course, Legorve does know that he picks up the highlight here. He can see the laser go over him. And it was a nice little attempt, for sure. Just trying to get that inspect without being seen at the statue. Very similar to the Redwoods play, except you actually do have to pick up the statue. In this case, which makes it a little bit more difficult. You have more animations. You can't get in there as quickly, get out as quickly, that kind of thing. So Legorv going actually back to the same statue set, trying to maybe reduce suspicion here. We did pick up one more inspect. Of course, we can't finish here
A little bit of
because
a nod from Legorf's camera. I wonder what that was for. It didn't look like frustration. It looked like he was happy.
perhaps
I don't know what it
going for this
is.
bug on the amble on the way through.
Wrong arm. That
Yeah,
was pretty
and
good.
yeah, it actually
Path was
was
sketchy, but
it was actually quite good as far as Lazybear is concerned. Lazybear was like angled way over on the left, perhaps watching actually his only highlight over the Queen. So Queen might be a pretty big suspect right now. So having that bug done is quite good for us. And we would need another flirt to finish off with an inspect swap here. The problem is we just don't have enough time. That flirt burning us again. We can't swap. We don't have the 10 seconds after that. We
there's a
go for it
swap.
anyways. It's going to be a white test. And Lazybear finds the shot. Uh, it's just when you go for end game swaps, you really want them to come. Like it doesn't matter in this case because Lazybear shoots instantly, but you really want them to come with that 10-second countdown. And in this case, we would not have had that because the seduce was not done. I think we were trying to bank perhaps on a green test to go finish that last flirt while it was pending, but in this case, does not work out. Legorve continues to stay behind in this set, and Lazybear going on to Aquarium on the spy side with match point.
Yeah, that's a position you don't want to be in as Legorf. So let's take a look at what happens. Looks like Lazybear's gonna be on plane twin.
Yeah, Plain Twin is a strong character for these kind of shark cheeses that Lazybear has sort of pioneered. Uh, Ponoob might argue that he invented it, but no, we'll see. Lazybear is the one that really debuted it.
Hmm.
We'll see how Lazybear handles it in 3, 2, 1, playing it. And Lazybear knows by looking at the shark at the very beginning of the game, you can see his camera kind of just shoot over there, what kind of timings he might have for shark cheese at the end of the game. Oh, wow. Okay, never mind.
Yeah,
Oh,
there was a take control off of pad, so the AI wanted to take plane twin onto the green books, and he took control and reverted right away from it. So I wonder if that's what the highlight is for, though there is a highlight onto rocker, so I'm not quite sure what it is.
yeah, this seems definitely like a read from the Gorp here,
Another read,
right?
yeah. He's been
This
doing
is
it all game.
saying, I know you like to start like maybe in these empty conversations or stuff like that. Like the reads so far from Legorve this set have been absolutely on point, and it's so on point that the only game Lazybear has won is the one where he actually AI controlled for the
Right.
first half of it. Like that's incredible. The kind of mind games that these are at play right now. Legorve is so far inside Lazybear's head right now, but of course, that one time where Lazybear wasn't Lazybear managed to find the win. But in this case, it is not. It is not that. This also could just be a twin highlight. I mean, some people do like to do that to
Does Legorv
differentiate
do that
them.
often in like his stream and his replays?
I don't actually know. I don't actually know if the Gorg does twin highlights.
Yeah,
Of course, Rocker also gets this
right.
highlight, so I would be more inclined to think it's something specific about that conversation. So,
Is he real DA? And Smallman is real DA.
oh, it's indeed real data. here comes our second flirt from Lazybear. It's a little bit chasey, but I think it's gonna be you want that early flirt done so you can get one set of inspects and contact, and then have the ability to do the shark cheese
Hmm.
when the timing comes later in the game. So I think that that might be what Lazy Bear is going for here. Having that early flirt done is very, very important. Of course, looking perhaps for a contact as Smallman is the real SDA, the real DA rather.
Yeah, and there is maybe something to think about where I think people try to play spy as to what would counter their sniper, and with Lazy Bear really rushing down flirts and Legorve taking these early shots, maybe it's the flirt pairing that is really getting Lazy Bear shot so early because we see Legorve really struggling and really respecting the ability to be flirt paired against the snipers. Maybe that's what he's prioritizing and how he is catching Lazy Bear so much. It does look like he's really angling to take a shot here around the shark, but apparently
Looks
not.
like looks like we're not really buying into the shark cheese this time around for Lazy Bear, not going for the early single inspects. So maybe looking for some other strategy here. Look at these low lights though. We have 5 low lights with no yeah here. Oh wow,
Yep.
direct purloin, and Legorve is all over it. Does not care.
It's got to be the flirting. It has to be that. With Legorv being so scared to flirt on his spy round, and then just really nailing Lazy Bear like post flirt here. And as you said, it was a bit chasey, and I think he left during his talk animation.
Well,
Uh,
I mean, we got highlight before the flirt
oh,
pair
that's
though.
true. I forgot. Let's take a quick look again at that beginning and see if we can spot a reason. There's the take control, which I don't think he saw because Rocker also gets highlight. Oh, so Rocker picks up a highlight for bug credit.
Okay, that that's interesting.
Yeah, Rocker bounced off the Amba kind of behind Shark, so it's a highlight for possible bug credit. The one onto Plane Twin, I'm gonna make a note so we can ask Legorv. Legorv.
Wait, what are you asking Legorve about?
No, not here. I mean for after the game.
Are you writing notes? I
Yeah,
see.
I'm right. I'm taking notes. Yeah.
All right. So now, playing on the spy side of Aquarium, Legorve needs this spy one, has not been able to find one this entire set, and now it's on to Aquarium, where you can definitely find one. But the Lazy Bear is quite impressive on this venue. It's going to be difficult. Can Legorve bring this to a draw and bring it to overtime? We're gonna find out in three, two, one. Playing it. We step in next to our ST early on. By the way, we actually had no take control redirect. We turned around with a bounce, but that was actually under AI control, so it was totally kosher. 34% on the floor. Since we're talking about AI controls, anyways,
Yeah, we needed the
can't
green
limit.
test there. Legorv, every spy game has been struggling to get flirt complete, and we really needed to hit that green test early so we could just get it done.
I don't think we needed to,
Needs it.
especially if, especially if we're gonna just sit here and wait for continued flirting. Um, because you don't need a green test flirt, even if you are having issues on the pacing. It's never a necessary component. You just want to you just want to really make sure you're getting back to your ST every once in a while.
Hmm. Yeah, I just more mean specifically for Legorv because throughout the set he's had issues with flirting. Hopefully he can. He's at 68, so I'd like to see Legorv leave this conversation and go work on some other mission progress, and then just wrap up flirt later.
Well, 68% is good, and now we have a pretty good contact on our
Yeah,
hands once people stop in conversation. So there's definitely reasons to stick around here. Here
perfect,
it comes.
perfect contact right now.
Yeah,
Not
this is a very nice
99%
play in
contact.
the red. Okay, well and it ends up being two potential lowlights. We got Taft and General
Five
did
S
leave right
Taft.
before the contact,
Yeah.
but I don't think that Lazy Bear was on top of the fact that we saw a leave
Yeah,
there.
couple
So
lowlights
we actually
for assumed fake on people who weren't already highlit.
Yeah, so if you haven't been to statues and you do a fake in in this context, it's going to pick you up a low light for Lazy Bear, which of course is a bit risky, but is taking that read in this scenario. We do finish off the flirt. We could maybe go for a bug behind Shark here. There is a Shark indeed going to come back out the other way in a moment, so we'll see if Legorov goes for it. Looking for this swap on Twin really hard. We're gonna go. Oh, it's
Reverse
the
drive
above
by
while the yeah
behind
reverse
bot.
drive by as the ambassador walks by, and we do take a talk immediately afterwards. That would have to be a credit, but the ambassador didn't even look like they were walking too close to us. It feels like we're not in that big of a position to make that happen, but we were. It was close enough. Bug done, contact done, seduce done.
Yeah, this is
Now,
a great bug, and Legorve is in a position to take a swap Shark Walk if he wants to. However, we know that Lazybear was, one of the people to debut or pioneer that strategy, so I wonder if Legorve is going to go for it. There's also a possibility to do a direct take into a Shark Walk.
yeah, here it comes. Here comes the direct take. The list is gone, but it's behind Shark. The fact Toby is behind Shark right now.
Three,
Lazy Bear
two.
can't see it. 3, 2, 1. Legorve is gonna win the spy game against the wall and is gonna bring this to overtime. What an incredible play! And so you actually can tell. I say that the list is behind Shark and Lazy Bear can't see it, but you can in fact tell if you're paying close attention whether or not the list actually disappears just by how the Toby's little
The
arrow
bounce,
over
yeah.
his head. Because he'll do a different animation if the list doesn't disappear, and there'll be a little bounce of the arrow. So Lazy Bear, if he were really watching closely, would have known that the list was gone. But clearly, we just were not a suspect at all, and so Lazy Bear had no reason to be watching for that, and we get away with it. Nicely done from Legorve, and now we are on to overtime, which in this format is back to Redwoods, back to Taeyang.
I love it.
So it's so this is just playing the double venues. Like, are you playing one game on each of the double venue, or one round, or eight
Two.
rounds?
So it's a best of four. You have to win by 2 points. So it ends at 3-0 or 3-1. And you play the two double venues twice each, infinitely until someone wins by two.
Oh wow, that could take a while with how these two players have been playing, but we'll see. These are definitely both venues where spies have opportunities galore. So it would not be surprising to see it end early, but it also wouldn't be surprising for us to be here for quite a while.
Let's see what happens. We've got Lazy Bear on Duke. Go ahead and count us in.
All right, Lazy Bear on the spy side, trying to get this set over and done with in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Starting out at Ambo. We'll see if he goes for an early bug.
Yeah, and remember, Redwoods is the venue where Legorve was 100% on top of Lazy Bear in the early game, completely and utterly dominating. But, in this case, perhaps not. We'll see if that can continue, right?
Yeah, Legorve early on in the set, if for the viewers that weren't here, was taking very early shots for voodoo reasons that we can only try to speculate at against Lazy Bear.
Wow, this is actually okay. Never mind. I was about to say this is actually illegal,
Yeah,
but because I thought we were low light. Look at Lilith.
yeah, low light for Legorve liked the briefcase etiquette there.
I don't know. Like Lazy Bear is very good at following etiquette when he wants to. So I would be really surprised and shocked if that were the reason for the low light. So this could be really quite bad for Legorve. Legorve has been inside Lazy Bear's head all day, but this could be the breaking point. This could be where the judgment is made incorrectly and Lazy Bear gets away with a spy game, but we'll see. We'll see if Legorve is willing to bring Lazy Bear back up later on.
Yeah, and we'll see if Lazy Bear succumbs to the pressure of Legorve getting inside of his head from the previous Redwood games and then struggles as far as pacing. It's probably not within Lazy Bear's, typical MO. He's usually gonna finish, but we'll see if he has any pacing issues just from possibly being afraid. Because I don't think he's suspecting that he's low lit from that.
Yeah, for sure. Earlier, what I was going to say is I thought it was illegal because I thought we were going bookcase to bookcase, but we were actually heading for the briefcase, so it's not illegal at all. Lazy Bear now 95% on the flirt. You'd like to have that last 5%, but you do have enough time to get that last one. And we do need a little bit more mission progress, of course. Probably going to be going in for final statues here. And then maybe even a swap, perhaps, going to finish off that last flirt. Oh, this is actually fingerprintable, so that looks to be the play. Going for a complete soft tail game as a low light is usually very, very strong. Of course, we don't know we're low lit. We're not completely sure on that fact, but it is going to be powerful because not doing hard tells when you're like literally never being considered as a suspect seems good.
Yeah, and he just needs a fingerprint, and then he's out and into mission win countdown. And did a fingerprint just go down on blue?
It would it does, but it's being smudged by Twin on the putback there. So Lazybear is going to have to hit a green fingerprint. Of course, his green test rate is quite high, something like 60% above that perhaps in SCL so far. And yeah, here it
Landed
is,
there.
that green test. We're a low light. I just don't think Legorve is going to shoot this ever. And Lazybear has gotten away with the game where, we've been really marveling at how Legorve has just been marking Lazybear in every single spy game so far. But in this case, the judgment is just wrong. He's just never a suspect, and the game is over before Legorve can realize it. And now he needs his own spy win to keep it even. Whew, we're gonna see if Legorve can bring this back again in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Starting us off on the bar here. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to get a fingerprint because the ambassador also had a drink to sip before ordering. If we had started with a drink and the ambassador did not, we could have waited just long enough to have the ambassador grab a drink first. Um, but oh wow, we're actually delegating really cheesily, and to Smallman, who is for whatever reason already a low light.
Was that a walking delegate? I was on the sniper view.
Yeah, it was a walking delegate, and if you didn't see it on the sniper view, Lazybear probably didn't see it at all. And Smallman, by the way, brought right back up to a highlight. Ooh, bug on the way through. Purloin done. This is looking a lot like a rush.
And again, Legorov just timing everything so perfectly. Right when Lazybear is distracted by something else, or at least from what I can gather, he's just getting the bugs, he's getting the purloins, he gets all of his hardtails out of the way. Let's see if he can finish off with the flirt.
I mean, yeah, there's definitely enough time to finish flirt here. I think that you have to. I don't know what you have to do here, but he's going for another drink back here. I don't know if this is a good idea necessarily. Maybe I don't know if actually. Okay, actually, yeah. So we're gonna walk away from this. We're gonna reject the drink all nice, and we're gonna walk away from this.
Yeah, I think he just
Uh,
wanted to buy time and maybe try and lower his suspicion. Was that a missed pad there on the near Kane?
no, it was not a mispad. We just walked away because Kane was picking up the statue before us. Yeah, here it comes. The low lights. Looks like the purloin has indeed been seen. There are only 3 highlights left in this game. 51% now on the flirt from across convo. So we're gonna need one more close green test to finish that off in one.
It's down
But
to 2.
it's down to 2 even. Yeah, Lazybear really on top of where this purloin could have come from. No other suspects in this game. Do you think we die if we go for the second statue visit? It feels
Yeah.
like it very well might. The thing is, we could also go simply for the contact flirt finish. That would be very natural.
Oh, we do have
Uh,
contact available. Didn't realize that.
because we have the bug. The bug, if it's unsuspected, it's going to be very hard perhaps for Lazybear to shoot us for contact flirt because it just looks like a potential frame from one of the two, right?
Yeah, and this contact has to be taken while Smallman is talking. You have to give Smallman a white contact if you want to try to squeeze by without getting shot, unless he's going to go for a silent game.
Yeah, silent game is also, of course, very strong, but I think in this case, when it's down to so few suspects, contact is just a safer option. General
Subdue's
gets
done.
brought back to a neutral light, I think, just to track the potential flirt progress. This is actually a fingerprintable book, which might be bad or good. It's really hard to tell if it's bad or good.
Yeah, I don't know. Legorov now has a couple different options to finish here. All of them are going to be quite scary against Lazybear. It'll be interesting to see what his choice is.
This could be a fingerprintable drink that we're going for at the bar. Finding the fingerprints here. This is perhaps our completion of choice. We take the drink. Will
Twin a
Lazybear
highlight.
shoot us for it? Here it comes. 10 seconds off the clock, and there it is. There's the shot. Lazybear on top of it knows that where the purloin came from, and Legorve just picks up enough suspicion by the end of the game. And I'm actually wondering if going back to Red Bookcase was a mistake. Because
Yeah, I wonder if that was an accident. Like he was maybe just going for the flirt and didn't even realize there was a fingerprint. Probably not, since he knew there was one on drink.
so the big question is if did Lazybear know that that's where he already got his inspecs from?
Right.
Because if Lazybear didn't know that,
Could think
then
it's inspect finish.
yeah, it could be. It could look like perhaps a purloin, seduce, fingerprint, inspect, finish.
Well, we're gonna want to ask Lazybear.
Yeah, and now wait, why are they going on Zan? What
It should be Tan next. You do two.
is it saying?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
I
I'm
thought it
sorry.
was
It's
four
it's
random
singles. Yeah, my mistake. I did
singles.
say earlier
Okay,
it's double. It is singles.
you're getting me confused, Screw. But we
Sorry.
are on Tan. Legorve is going to need to take both of these games to stay in the set and force yet another round of overtime. But it could just be ending right here, right now, with Lazybear on the spy side of Tan. We'll see if he can do it. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, if they were doubled, it would be a best of 8, which would be insane.
Whew. Lazybear starting off with the early center inspects with a flirt to go with it. We pick up the highlight, which I think is pretty natural to highlight someone who had center inspects early on in the game. Doesn't look like one of those very behavioral, like I know you're a Lazybear highlights. All right, inspects done. We could go for a contact here. It would be a pretty good time. There's only one person out, and it's our ST.
Yep, good
Two
call.
people out actually, as Twin leaves, and Smallman, unfortunately, gets low lit.
Yeah, and Lazybear not going for the Civ shot this time on Tan, or at least not the same avenue. Before he did a very long AI control into just kind of a lazy contact into a lazy purloin, which ended up getting the other twin shot. So it looks like Lazybear will be shooting for mission completion thus far.
Yeah. Legorve now with a few lowlights in his pocket with Lazybear highlight. You definitely have some belief in the fact that Legorve can win this game. We could be going for a bug here. In fact, if we do exactly that. Oh wow,
Safety
safety
off
off. I
toggle.
think that's completely
There it
yeah
is.
no. Legorve was not
Not
happy.
wanting to chance it.
Yeah, I think he also saw the flirt stop talk that Lazybear did right before this bug went through. So very nicely seen from Legorve. The shot comes off, and of course, we do still need to see the spy win from Legorve
How
on Tayen, or
how
else
I want to look
Lazybear
at this
wins.
bug. I'm sorry. How did he catch this bug? It's got to be her head turning.
Yeah, the head idle changes a little bit when they do the bug. They stay
Yeah,
straightforward.
he caught me. He's caught me for that, as Alice as well. But this bug is so hard for me to see from sniper view. The fact that he
Well,
catches that, or maybe credits it.
another way you can catch that, by the way, is looking through Shoji and hovering over the character you're watching bug
Yeah,
for, because then you can see their outline through Shoji instead of
right.
just their silhouette, which allows you to see the bug a lot easier. But that is something that you have to be really, really actively doing, and you have to maybe sell out a little bit on other things in the party to do.
Hmm.
So in this case, Legorov decides just to go for a little bit more of a difficult route, but knows exactly what's happening and makes the shot.
Yeah, let's take a look. Legorov playing match point here. He's got to take this to retie it up and reset the overtime as Oprah. Go ahead and count us in.
All right, 3, 2, 1, playing it. Lazybear has been on the brink of winning this set so many times. He,
Request white
oh
purloin to
wow,
start.
white purloin. I think we're going for a bit of a rush. Standing bug here. Contact. There
Contact.
it all is. It's a lot all at once. Can Lazybear suss this out? There's so much happening. We only need flirt left, by the way. That's all that's left in this game for Legorov. He could go for the pure rush and go for center statues now, but it looks like he's just going to play the rush into make you shoot for flirt.
And Lazybear has been Flirt has really been the crux of what's getting Legorv killed, I feel, for most of his spy games. Does finally land the green on the first Flirt up to 51%, so he's in a pretty good position. I wouldn't be surprised if Lazybear clocks Oprah next to Teal and Boots here. So hopefully he can just timer flirt this and win, and the ST cooperates. It's down to
Oh
4.
yeah, down to 4. Lazybear has narrowed this down pretty well, all things considered, given the chaos of that early game, the pressure. But you still need to be shooting purely for flirt. And I think this might not actually necessarily be down to 4. I think that it's more likely that these two, Teal and Boots, are still neutral lights because that's the flirt track.
Right.
Because the Purloin came from the back where Smallman was, so it makes sense that he's still a highlight. But it doesn't make as much sense that Teal is or Buns is, right? I'm
Yeah.
calling her different names, different times I'm saying it. So I would not be so shocked if this was actually just a flirt track.
Yeah, this has got to be a cross. Oh, I like this that Legorve actually pats by the combo with an opportunity to flirt with Boots here, but doesn't take it. I think that that's a pretty wise decision considering he still has a minute 40 and the party could be narrowed down. I don't like this here. Okay, he does actually space across the conversation, but it's still probably close enough. Yeah, still
No,
close enough for a green.
it is absolutely close enough.
Yeah.
We were pretty deep in this conversation, but I
Yeah.
would not be surprised to see a shot for a talk here. Here it comes. There it
Wow.
is. Lazybear taking
Taking the
down
flirt shot.
the set with a flirt shot here. And I think this is the downside to forcing the flirt later in the game. It really gives the sniper a time to suss out your rush, right? To suss out, okay, let me evaluate what happened in this early game and start narrowing down my suspects. And Legorve, I might have been a little bit happier with the center inspects. Just go there and force them to shoot you immediately. But either way, Lazy Bear did a very nice job narrowing it down and found the flirt pair that was necessary to take down Legorve here. Whew, that was a very impressive
Yeah.
set.
What an intense set. And such courage by Legorov on your match point to just go for the early purloin, the standing bug, the
And
quick
I take it
contact.
we're about to get some interviews going.
Yeah, sorry, I actually had Discord muted so stream could hear me, but you couldn't.
Oh,
um,
oh.
no, it's all good. Yeah, let's pull Legorov in, and we've got some notes and a couple things, so I'm dragging Legorov in now. Legorov,
Hello, got a mute stream. Hi.
what an insane set. We've got a ton of questions. Hopefully, you have a moment we can go over a few things. Let's just kind of maybe let's start off chronologically. Walk us through what the heck was going on early um, on the first Redwoods. How were you getting these highlights and shots onto him so early?
Because he was flirting. Flirting is a hard tell, don't you know?
But we saw you highlight Lazy Bear
Teal?
before
Or
he
no,
ever
who?
even on Aquarium. I think it was the second game of Aquarium.
As twin?
Yeah, as twin,
At
but
the
before
pilot
he
for the
ever.
take control.
At the Green
Yeah,
Books?
Yes.
Yeah, let me grab that really quick. Let's see.
it just
Set
felt like you
game.
were really on top of him early on in the game and just really went at it. But speaking of being on top of him early in the game, the one game where you weren't on Redwoods during overtime, you low lit Duke for
Yeah.
what was the reason behind that one?
I thought he redirected well off the briefcase. So,
The
horrible
redirect,
light. That cost me.
definitely Lazy Bear is probably not the best spy to be going for nice redirect low lights on. Uh, I've been burned for that myself. A long way back during the Winter Cup third place match. I actually low lit him for a nice, or no, I actually think it was Veranda finals, but one of those matches I low lit him for a nice convo stop in time of chaos, and he was very happy to
Yeah.
have been credited for that. But yeah, Lazy Bear definitely someone who can replicate AI stuff like that.
On Veranda, Legora, when you were sniping, we had Irish and Mom in a conversation with the real double agent, who then picked up highlights. Lazy Bear goes back towards between green and red bookcase and throws out a fake contact with an SDA. You switch Mom from a highlight to a low light, and even though Irish is there as well, or sorry, from a neutral down to a low, you must have neutral it hurt some other point, but you kept Lazy Bear in. Did you just did is that just a habit of yours of if I'm going to assume this is not a real contact or what have you, if they're highlight, I'm not going to adjust them. If they're neutral it, I will.
I think she was out for contact, if I'm seeing on stream correctly.
Oh, okay, maybe that was it. She had just joined right after, and when I was watching it live, I thought that.
Banana bread.
Oh yeah, she was. Yeah, very tight timing for you to catch. She was just landing in the conversation when Banana Bread goes off. So, okay, makes sense. Yeah, and then your
And
highlight onto Plane Twin was for that take control at Green Books, as you were saying.
Yes.
so, like, did you have any plans coming into the set to upset Lazy Bear here? We say upset in quotes because Lazy Bear is extremely strong, but you are also, of course, quite a good player here,
Well,
as seen by this
I
set.
in practicing, I was a bit worried that my sniper would even do poorly here, so I'm just glad that that kept up pretty well.
Yeah, it was insane. I actually I had one more was on Redwoods when Lazybear was playing general, walking towards bar, and then cuts into the back conversation. You end up highlighting him, and I was very curious as to what that was for.
Yeah, for flirting.
Had he
He's
been
just
near?
Lazy Bear's game plan is flirt and contact at the start, and then do the rest of his missions. And if he has a good bug in there, sure, he'll take it.
So did you notice that he was with the twin at the window at the very start?
Yeah. No, I didn't actually. Um, he was just chasing him, I guess.
Yeah, great,
I did
great
low
stuff.
light him for being at or being in front of Amba accidentally.
Right. Yeah, we saw a couple of those throughout the set where
Yeah,
you guys.
of course. Yeah, you corrected that, of course.
Yeah, it was a great
On this
highlight
game at
nonetheless.
least.
Well, a great set overall. Obviously very close. Went into overtime, 9-7. That set, that direct take on Aquarium was to tie up the set was just absolutely insane. It was so hype. A great spy round by you and one where you were finally able to break through and kind of get past his sniper. So great effort. Very close set. Obviously 9-7 in overtime, and
Yes.
congrats on making it this far into the bracket.
Good game to Lazy Bear. I'll let you hand him the mic.
Yeah, Lazybear hopping in here now. What is going on? How do you feel about that set?
Exhausting. I like, he had these power shots early. When you get shot like a minute in and you've only flirted, you kind of feel, oh shit, this is a confident sniper.
Right.
But I wasn't sure like what gave me away. Was it pathing? Because my pathing isn't very good, if I'm going to be honest. Was it the yeesh flirting? You know,
The
because I
yeesh
do
flirting.
those. The yeesh flirting is you always just chase your ST every game. That's the yeesh flirting, and you just take the green flirt. Like OP tried to counter it last season by highlighting anyone doing it, and he was very effective.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
the yeesh flirting that did that in gold, punished that in gold finals a little bit. That was a lot of fun, which is why
yeah.
Lazybear's calling it the yeesh flirting.
That's why I'm calling it that. So I think mid set, I just decided, screw it. I'm just gonna AI control half of
Mm-hmm.
the tailgate. And then I started to going statues first and stuff like that, kind of like
Trying to mix it up.
avoiding flirting at the beginning. Yeah, just because I'm not winning this way. Like he's shooting me way too early. I'm like a top suspect when I'm even framing. So yeah,
No, that's great of you to recognize kind of what was getting you killed and then pivot into a different strategy to mix it up mid-set so that he couldn't keep punishing. And that's kind of what we were suspecting with the AI control on Tan was just, he's catching you for anything that you do, so make yourself an AI and then he shouldn't be able to catch you and try to figure something out in the latter half of the game.
yeah. It felt like I was playing a guy that's just speed ran dailies for months and just shoots a
Yeah.
anything really.
Wow,
I
it's
guess
almost
how
as
it
if
felt
that's
like.
exactly what happened.
Yeah, so like, but I have to play. Like I can't just default to not doing stuff. So I refuse to do that. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
I know how you feel, Lazybear.
I,
yeah.
Lazy, I want to try to dissect some of the second half of the Redwoods overtime game where Legorve is Disney. When he went over to the Red books, we were trying to figure out, at that point, did you know that he had already been to those to grab that inspect? Did you know that there was a fingerprint there, or kind of walk us through your thought process, the last minute or so on that second overtime Redwoods game?
Yeah, that was a weird one because I felt like Smallman was the framer of the two. Like I had Disney and Smallman as the purloiners. I knew that Disney was next to Amba and could have bugged while he was there along with the Amba, but that's such a bad bug in most venues, but not on Redwoods. So I was kind of like,
Mm-hmm.
would he really stand bug here? I don't know if he did actually, but I assume he did.
It was actually not a standing bug. It was a reverse drive-by when the ambassador was coming through windows on the right front
Oh,
conversation.
yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah. No, like I knew he was at the same books twice. Yeah, I just felt like I had to shoot the last print at bar.
Okay, so you did have tracking on both of those fingerprints.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Legorve, while you're in here, was that red book fingerprint an accident or was that on purpose?
Oh, I had to take that. I thought there was a print on bar as well. I
Okay.
didn't think I could get any other mission win by.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
what it
did
seemed
you
like.
consider contact at all? I mean, it seems contact would be a really natural way to finish missions here.
That would have forced me to a more of a 50-50 between him and Smallman. And if I'm going to be honest, I kind of lean towards Smallman because Disney felt like an AI who was a high threat, and Smallman kind of, took advantage of it, if you will. But I'm not
Yeah.
familiar with Legorve's style too much, so I don't know if he does those types of plays. So
Normally bad pacing. So it's a good shot.
I think I would have shot Disney if he had real and Smallman didn't. I'm pretty sure.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that was the case.
Well, a fantastic set overall, a real nail biter. Honestly, one of my favorite sets that I've ever seen in this game. Just back and forth, crazy shots from both players all throughout, with Legorve really capturing some of the early game reads, Lazybear pulling back when it seemed like he was behind time and time again on Sniper. So thank you to both of you for competing. Lazybear moving on to the next stage of the bracket, and we'll wrap up this interview portion. We will be back later tonight at 7 p.m. PST. We will be seeing, I think it's Yeesh versus T-Flame, if I recall correctly. And I'll see if I can get the bracket up on screen here.
Oh, guess who I get to play again?
Your favorite
fun.
opponent?
It's Lazybear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't get the easy matchup next. You get the hard one.
I'm pretty sure it would have been a good match regardless, Legorve.
It's a
Yeah,
pretty hard
I'm
matchup.
very happy with this result. I thought I would have lost this anyway, but to have it be this close, I'll take it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a hard set regardless. But Lazybear, I've just played him so many times. It's just like I just stop.
Yeah, so we'll be seeing Lazybear versus Opie Rights. That should take place tomorrow. We'll figure out times here in a little bit. And then we're going to see T-Flame and Yeesh tonight at 7 p.m. And the winner of that will play Ponoob tomorrow as well. We are shooting to wrap up the rest of the bracket tomorrow, assuming that we can get the schedules all nailed down. We'll have some announcements for that. So until 7 p.m. later tonight, I've been Screwloose. Thank you, Opie, for casting, Lazybear, and Legorve for playing.